Hello, how you doing? My name is Jake Feldman. I am a Master at Arms in the United States Navy, which is the military's equivalent to like military police. Okay, and there's a few things I wanted to put out for people's understanding because I made a post recently related to what's going on in Ferguson, and it prompted a huge amount of response and like very emotional responses from my, very liberal friends back in New York where I'm from, and they kind of got in an argument with my friends that are masters in arms in the Navy, and I think that there's just a true lack of understanding of why law enforcement behave the way they do and why things are. So I wrote down a few talking points. Okay, first and foremost, where police are concerned. Okay, if you're in a position of authority and you're enforcing the standard on the public, and now let me just start by saying I didn't dream from when I was a little kid of being a police officer. It was always something in the back of my mind, but I mean, I was a mechanic for years, and I had kind of a low opinion of police, and that stemmed from a lack of understanding. Once you do it for like a little while, or you learn the reasoning behind it, when you get to have a lot more respect and a lot more understanding for why they do the things they do. First and foremost, though, if you want to enforce the standard, you got to be the standard. You have to be above board. You can't go out there and be a piece of shit, treat people badly, stuff like that. I mean, when it's necessary, yeah, I guess, but no, you still never treat people like shit. And you got to hold yourself just as accountable as everyone else. You are not any better than anyone else. And I think that there are some bad cops out there, but they're so far fewer than there are good cops. Because when the people that I've met, the people I've worked with, you get to the feeling that it's not like what I once thought. I thought that, this is all a bunch of hard asses who got beat up in high school and got, or whatever, were bullied. Now they want to bully people back. That is absolutely not the case. It's just people looking for a job with a steady paycheck. At least in my case, it's got a good pension. I find the work, interesting. I took the NYPD exam. I plan on becoming a NYPD officer when I get out of the Navy. Hopefully that works out. Otherwise, I guess I'll stay in. But yeah, it's got good pension, great benefits. I don't want to go out there and bust people's heads open. That's not something that I live for. But let me put in that a few things. Okay. Now, from both sides, you got a lot of, I guess the right way to say it, African American, right? I was going to say black people. Is that not politically correct anymore? I guess not. Okay. African Americans. That's okay. Whatever. That have a hatred for police. And that stems from, a lot of black people in America are disenfranchised, that's the truth. And they grow up in bad environments, and it's a perpetuated cycle where, if you are born poor and in a bad neighborhood, you have to work harder than somebody who was born in a nice neighborhood and, didn't have all these things working against them. But that doesn't excuse bad behavior. It somewhat rationalizes it, but it does not excuse bad behavior. And I am sure that there are a lot of racist police officers out there. But in the Navy, we don't really have any room for racism. I don't think there is anybody I know in the Navy that is truly racist. I'm Jewish. I take a lot of crap about it, but it's joking. You know what I mean? I've never really felt persecuted by anyone, and I don't think that the black people that I work with feel that way either. And a lot of the people I work with, they came from bad situations. This is their only way out, and so now they're police officers. Okay, now I will say this: hatred of police is very much akin to racism. Because it's like both sides. One side makes a generalization about the other. Let's say all black people are bad, or all black people are criminals, or all African Americans are criminals, or something like that, because they've had a bad experience with with a black guy, or they've seen something bad, or they're just completely ignorant. And it's the same thing when you say I hate cops, or I hate or all police are bad. You're doing this exact same thing. You're making a generalization about a group, about using a factor that's completely irrelevant. It's completely unrelated. You could be the nicest guy in the world, and you could be a police officer. You could be a complete piece of shit human being and be a police officer if you hide it well enough. The other thing I wanted to touch on is use of force. Use of force takes a lot of knowledge, and I often see people criticizing videos of police that, on the surface, if you have no knowledge about it, it looks very bad, It looks very, very bad. Like, for example, I saw one video that one of my friends, who posts a lot of anti-government, a lot of anti-police stuff, on the internet, that before I was in the Navy, before I did this, I would have probably jumped on the bandwagon with him and been like, yeah, fry those cops, send them to jail, they deserve. But what I've learned is, okay, this guy was wielding a knife, he had just robbed a store, and he started moving towards the police, and he got to about 10 feet away from him, and they shot him. Okay, now, there's something called reactionary gap. A person in good shape can cover 21 feet before an officer can draw their firearm. Now, when you're somebody who goes out and puts themselves in stressful, dangerous situations on a daily basis, and you know what people are capable of, you know how easily you could lose your life, it's not worth it for them to take that risk. They reacted, and they were completely within their rights. Had they not done so, who knows how it would have turned out. But people are right there, right quick to criticize them. That's the other thing, and it causes them a lot of stress, a lot of anguish, because it's very, very difficult to have to make those kind of decisions. I don't honestly believe that these police officers go out there like, I want to kill somebody today. No, because it's so much easier to not do that. I mean, it would be, it's not so much, I mean, they would so much rather not do that, because that ruins their... that really puts them through a lot of crap. You don't want to have a line of duty shooting. You don't want to kill somebody in the line of duty. You're going to be scrutinized, and it's a lot to go through. And the other thing that's been going on is, okay, in some cases, like this thing in Ferguson, the guy was proven innocent. No reliable, credible witnesses could prove anything against him. Who knows? Maybe the guy is a racist scumbag, but I seriously, at this point, I seriously doubt it, because 3 independent medical examiners said otherwise. However, what people are doing is they're doing what politicians like to do, where they bundle things together. Let me slip in this one really bad law, or 10 really bad laws surrounded by one really good one, or something like that. And politicians love to do stuff like that, sneak stuff in. But that's what the media is doing. I mean, they bundle them together. Like, there are some bad police shootings, some bad police tactics that have taken place, and they're pretty cut and dry, and it's pretty clear that they were wrong. But in this particular case in Ferguson, I really honestly believe that we have a constitution, and we have laws in this country, and we say innocent until proven guilty, and the guy was not proven guilty. That's it. End of story. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta say, well, that's all the evidence we had, and that sucks, or whatever. And it's really unfortunate, that people are using that opportunity to destroy their own community. It's like, it makes no sense to me. Why? It's like if you get angry at your neighbor, so you burn down your own house. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I wish people would find better means, That's all I'm saying. All right. Thanks. I know that's kind of long. I dragged on. I'm not a video blogger or anything, but I hope that clears some things up for some people. But all right. Bye.